That's very.
I said worthless. There's a difference between the two.
That's
Worthless is worse, I think.
Did you check the live link? Because perhaps you should.
That's
Check.
very.
It's right here. I'll push the button again. No, it says, it's going.
It says you saying you're useless.
Worthless was the word I used.
All right, there we go.
All right, here we go. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mornings with Matt and the Deering Acting Studio Podcast, where we discuss the connection between life and acting.
I just thought I'd try something different there, but man, that was a tension creator.
Yo, what an intro though. That was. Here's the thing. You can't even be mad about that because
No,
it was
not at all.
so good that if anybody were sitting next to you, they'd be like, "Let me join.
Let me join in. I gotta be a
That's-
part of this.
That's fun. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mornings with Matt. Today we're going to talk about a little topic that came out of the brain of my daughter, Rosalind Lee Deering. She said to me, Daddy, you got. It's important to wait to have fun. Is what she understood based on our conversations we were having around the dinner table, and what she meant by that was delayed gratification. She meant the idea of waiting before you get the thing that you really want, and taking your time and not rushing and not being something where you make a decision so fast and whatnot. So she said, wait till you have fun. And then she goes, hey, Dad, that could be a topic on Mornings with Matt's show. And I said, all right.
Oh man, that is.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
I like it when you bring up these topics because it's really nice to have it brought down to a simpler idea versus this big idea of delayed gratification, right? Like you did that with focus on the good things happen.
Yeah.
Which is basically you told your kids focus on God, godly things will happen to you, and it's like when that kind of breakdown happens with the analogies, it's easier to put it into perspective sometimes, which is cool.
And how cool is it that comes from a little kid? You know, I think it's a reminder to all of us that sometimes I know I'm guilty of this. I can look at a kid and go like, okay, they're just a kid, but when you let them rise up and you start to do something and work with them, they do. Like,
Yeah.
she was on the show the other day, so she's thinking about it and she's starting to understand how it works to be on a show, and so there's something to that.
You know what's funny is I told my kids last night because we were talking about the show a little bit, and I said and I've decided I think that the two of you need to practice, and they looked at me like, and I was like, yeah, the last couple times you've been on the show, I think you both got a little nervous and didn't say much, and I was like, and you're very good, so I think you need to practice so that you get better at it before we bring you back on the live show. And they were both like, okay. But at first they were kind of shocked, like, practice?
Why would we practice
for the show? Like, we got it.
We just talked, Dad.
I'm like, well, you didn't though.
Yeah,
you didn't talk. And they're wonderful, wonderful kids. So when Rozzy said that, it was in relation to some things that I was going through, that I was sharing at the dinner table. But it reminds me of for all of us, for our journeys that we're on. And sometimes we get something in our minds. We want to buy a thing, or we want to get a promotion, or we want to land an acting job. We want to get an agent. We want to. And so it's good to set goals for those things, of course. But at the same time, I've always said you don't want to rest your happiness in that. It's got to be about the progress. You have to be able to wait. Thank you, Joey, for that gratification. And if you can, you'll usually be rewarded for it at a super high level.
Absolutely.
Great example was, you know this story because you're the man behind it. I was gonna buy a car a couple years back. It's about 3 years now, actually.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it might even be longer, but it's at least 3 years. And we were sitting on the couch, and I showed you the car, and that I was thinking about buying, and you're like, "It's a nice car. It's a good car." And I was like, "Thanks." And I was like, "What do you think?" You know, I'm like, "I got this and I got that," and I showed you that I had just enough to buy it. You know, and you're like, "Well, I think if you've prayed on it and you think that that's the best decision, you think that you've got the money and 100% you feel secure about it, I trust you, that you would never put the business at jeopardy, go for it." And I was like, "I'm not buying the car."
Yeah.
And what's funny is I've been rewarded for that because you know, I still want to buy a car, so I'm probably gonna buy a car this year. Hopefully, it's been a little while. But I was when the pandemic hit, we had my car money was sitting in the bank account, and we didn't use it, but it was there,
Yeah.
and it made us feel secure. It gave us a sense of like, you know, all right, we can take some risks now during this time. It's hard, like we can kind of go for it, and so. Yeah, I mean, and that's one example right there. I think, you mentioned this morning about the doctor's office.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember the build out at the doctor's office? We have pictures of us. I don't know if you remember it or not.
Oh, like painting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yes.
Okay, so here's what happened. We decided we're gonna start a Deering acting studio, and we're fired up, man. We are fired up. And so I cut a deal with my dad, who's a doctor, and he runs this super old, really well known, and people love him, but the space was not nice at all. And so the deal was I was going to renovate his lobby area for him, and I was going to recarpet the entire place in exchange for free rent for like 8 months or something. And so we cut that deal, and we didn't have any money, so I paid for some of it, but a lot of it was us doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, like one of my fondest and also just worst memories of all time is taking the wallpaper off.
It was god awful,
horrific wallpaper was on this wall, and you had to spray the stuff that like loosened up the glue, but that was behind the wallpaper. Then you had to use this scraper and try to scrape it off, and you'd use another it's like a claw thingy. You had to like roll it around so you could kind of like perforate the wallpaper a little bit, and then spray this stuff behind the wallpaper to get the glue to loosen up. And it had been there so long. It's such an old office that you could not separate the wallpaper from the wall. I mean, it was just horrific. And we spent just like probably a day and a half on just scrubbing these not even big walls.
Like it wasn't that much coverage to hit, but it took forever. And you know what's crazy is it was obviously a beast of a job, but it was surreal. It was this amazing experience because we had each other and we were doing it ourselves. It's the garage story, right?
Yeah.
Every great business has a garage story of where they started and how they started. And so I'm going to release some of those today on Instagram so you guys can see them. But I think the coolest thing that comes to my mind is we were, especially me, but we were kids, you know? Like, we were kids. I was like 17. You were like 27. I mean, you can see just how young we are. And when you look at these pictures, you'll be able to see that the space itself there's nothing special about it, like Matt's saying. It's just a very simple like lobby. It's so simple. Like my favorite story personally was every week we'd come in, and because we did it over the weekend, that's kind of like especially like or at night, one of the two, after basically doctor's office had closed.
No,
right?
it was at night. It was every night at 5 p.m.
Yes, it was. So the night had finished, the office was done with all the doctor stuff, and we would come in, transform it in our own way, and then have to transform it back. And
Every
so,
day.
yeah, every day. So we'd come up and we'd put up different pictures, take down the stuff that they had up.
We had those
and-
little reels from like
Yeah.
Target or something. Like,
Yeah.
like these metal reels that we took down a doctor plaque. We put up a metal reel.
Yeah,
We're
like-
now it's an acting studio.
There's a
everybody.
water fountain. The classic water fountain of the doctor's office is directly in the classroom. Like, and
which was convenient. I mean,
so
it's-
convenient, so great. And then we would go back, and like even my editing like suite at the time was in a back room that was like behind there, covered in like all the files and stuff. And then the other bathroom was around the corner, and obviously these doctors' offices have the spot where you have like the urine and stuff. Like, please place your urine here. And so it was like one of those open things where you would like open it and put it in there. So we had just this framed picture. And we would take the picture and just put it right over the urine thing. So
Yeah,
like
so nobody
so
knew.
nobody knew, right?
But I mean, they
Obviously.
still knew it was
They
a
still
doctor's
knew it was the
office,
doctor's
but they
office.
didn't know that there was a urine hole.
right,
behind.
right there. And
But
so,
and what's funny, Brian, this is just bringing back so many memories. We had standard operating procedures for that. Like, you'd get in trouble if you forgot to hang up the photo
over the pee thing.
over the pee thing.
yeah.
Oh, dude, hilarious.
Well, and the other thing about
And that's why I say, like, when I look at our studio now, I say this all the time, that it's beyond what my dream was back then. Because I couldn't even see it. I just knew we were gonna do something big. I knew it if we kept going, that something's gonna happen, and this and that, and to our credit too, we've had some opportunities, like my wife, when she landed the big GoDaddy contract and different things, we reinvested in us a couple times, like probably 4 or 5 times, where some money came and I said, all right, could have been selfish, could have bought the car, could have bought the whatever, and I went, we're all in on the business. We're going to take this and we're going to use this money to make more money. We're going to take our talents that God's given us, and we're going to reinvest the talents in order to continue to prosper. And that has paid off,
absolutely.
you know, in a big way. And it's crazy, because you think, like, I mean, there was a time when when we weren't making that much money, and then all of a sudden every 3 months we would get a $20,000 check. that wasn't from our work. It was from, like, Leanne's acting, and it would just come in the mail, and it'd be like, there's like 20 grand. Like,
What is this? This is
like,
huge.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
You know, and so it was like, okay, what are we gonna do with that? And then knowing and predicting, like, this is gonna keep coming. This money's gonna keep coming in. So we found a way to reinvest smartly back into the company, back into the space, back into the studio, into the students, and they could feel it. You know, they could feel that, like, oh, these people care about us. These people they're always, like, inventing new ways of delivering the product. And what's funny is all the reinvestment we did back in that day has been demolished and redone. All of it.
Yeah.
But it needed to be done at the time, you know?
did,
Like,
yes.
that's what enabled us to build a stage back in the day. And eventually we tore down the stage.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And now we have this, you know, we have
Yeah.
all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd like to jump even, again, little blast from the past within that, about getting out there, which I know is a chapter in the book.
Chapter 3.
Yeah.
Get out there.
Joey's used to the audio book that he's been working with Matt.
Which, by the way, we're going to have to redo chapter 1 and 2.
Dude, I know, and
It's
breaks
so
my heart.
depressing. I know.
So here's the thing: we recorded in like segments, and the first couple chapters we got through all in one segment, and then I got to chapter 5, and there's like 6 files there, and I'm like, okay, like, cool, and each one's like 20 minutes, and then I put them all together just to see like how long or whatever, and
Yeah.
it's like 45 minutes, and I was like, oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like halfway through chapter 5, but I'm just like, oh man, I can't believe this chapter is 40 minutes long. That's amazing.
But is it really 40 minutes long?
For real.
Oh.
Well, it won't be. It'll probably be closer to like 35,
Got it.
30 when I cut it down.
Well, it's funny, like when you grab some audiobooks, like I love audiobooks, so I'm always buying audiobooks. And sometimes you'll grab one and you'll look at the total time and it's like 10 hours. You know?
Yeah.
And
like,
since
okay.
since we got
All
off
right.
on this path, I'm just gonna say this because it was making me laugh the whole time. Matt just really loves investing Sweeneys when they're young.
Oh, I do love
Yes,
investing
yeah.
in
It's like
Sweeney's.
Yeah.
hearing your stories about your glory days of when the studio was young. Like obviously I wasn't around like as a part of the business back then. I saw a little bit of it as like a kid, but didn't understand it. But it's funny because a lot of the same lessons and stuff that you're talking about, I learned in my revamp, and that was in this space. So like the painting the floors, like certain procedures,
Yeah.
editing, like finish strong, like all that is in what you're saying with Brian. And I come in 10 years later and all of it is still the same, and the lessons have come up in different ways even though we're in a bigger space. Like
That's
it's
such a good
cool.
point. Because like think about this. Whatever our standard operating procedures now, let's say the way we clean and the way we take out the trash and all that to end a day. That was turning the studio back into a doctor's office. There was a responsibility back then. Why? What was the why there? You know, we wanted to be grateful for the space we had.
Yeah.
We wanted to show the next people who were going to use it, which happened to be my dad's doctor's office staff, that we respected them and that we really appreciated being in the space. Why was it a standard operating procedure to cover up the little secret pee passage?
Pee passage.
You know why? But why was that so important?
For our clients, to help them feel that, and for us.
Yeah, for the clients, for them to feel like, hey, I'm in a studio, I'm in a place where these guys are like, you know, they care about me, and like, and even back then, it's like, to the best of our ability, we wanted you to feel famous when you walked in the room.
Yeah.
And so we did what we could do, and I love joking about the DVD technology
Yeah.
because nobody uses DVDs anymore. God bless you. But
Except Matt Engelhard, if you watch his episode.
Our grandparents and Matt Engelhard are the only people
Yeah.
left. No, so but yeah, like even though we were in this tiny little space, and it was, I mean, and the people there's a couple people who missed out on it.
Yeah.
I know for a fact, and it was disheartening. Actually, it was one of those things that could have derailed us if we let it. But we had clients show up who bought the class, who talked to us on the phone. Were like, they were excited, they heard good things about us. They showed up, saw the space, and left. Like, didn't even try the class. Happened like maybe twice. And it was like, ugh, like just
I
a
was gonna
gut
say,
shot,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And we had to just keep going. We had to go, all right, let's keep going. And then what? Then it was like, we need better signage. So then we got these little A-frame signs that said, here's the studios this way, you know, like don't
Yeah.
be confused. This is like, it's cool on the inside. Just get into the inside. Once you
It's
get to the
cool.
inside, it's going to be different, you know. And
I
it
get-
wasn't that cool, but our energy was cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and we started solving the problem with little things. I remember I would stand outside before class, like they do at church. Like, hey, like, you know,
Yeah.
like there were times where we do that and just kind of bring people in. And
Well,
make
because
them
if Brian can distract them from the location,
yeah.
I'm serious. I mean
Yeah,
this.
no,
If he can distract them
100%.
from the location, all of a sudden they're like, oh, now I'm talking to somebody. I realize I'm already at the acting studio. Now I'm not like focused on, oh, there's a dentist's office and this office.
I gotta ask though. I gotta ask.
All right,
though.
hit this.
Did you have young Sweeney on the curb twirling a sign?
100%.
Yes,
Yeah!
that was second.
Bro.
That was our second location.
Dude,
Yes.
that's okay. I'm
Bro,
gonna be honest with you.
I put my young bride, my young wife, who I just married, out in the middle of busy McDowell Road. She took turns. We all took turns.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I was out there spinning the sign, 100%. I mean, I will never ask someone to do something I haven't done myself. I'm not willing to do myself. So I was out there just as much as everybody else spinning
Yeah.
the sign. Kimmy was out there, and my
Oh
wife
my
and Kimmy
goodness.
just spinning the sign. And it's like dude, I would do it today if I thought it was gonna work. I'd be out there right after the show.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's the cool thing about that too is it's not even just about like the job. It's about culture, right? That there were times, obviously, I bet, where it was like annoying, but for the most part, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, no, it's
You know?
annoying. It's like crazy annoying.
You're there with, but you're there with your sister. You're there with your wife, like whatever, and you have this close, tight knit relationship. So you do gritty jobs or whatever, but you have the relationship and the fun and joke around. Like I've done that with Brian before, where we do something we don't like. I definitely don't want to do, but you sit there, you joke through it, like you have a good time, and then it becomes a memory.
Totally.
When like if you were there doing it by yourself, you would just hate it.
Yeah.
You know? And that's cool. It's also like culture built, you know.
And you know, spinning the sign, it does work. I'm going to tell you, it does work. But what's hard about it is that we're in acting school, and so you know, one of the people that I got business mentorship from early on he's a guy named Kevin Mayer. And so Kevin, if you started watching the show, thank you for all your help early on in our journey. He's a great businessman, Kevin. And you know, and I would take different pieces of advice from him. And one of the things, you know, I would watch how his business was run, and he'd always have people out there spinning the signs. You know, and I'm like, I'm going to spin the signs. But the difference is he ran Subways. And you see a sign for a sandwich, and like you might pull in and get a sandwich. You see a sign for an acting school, you're not actually gonna pull in and like
Take a class. Let's jump on.
But it doesn't mean it didn't work actually, because what we were doing is we were driving the education that, hey, this exists here.
Sure.
So probably 0 people pulled in and grabbed an acting class just because they saw Kimmy standing out there with a sign that says acting school this way. But maybe if somebody talked to somebody and said, hey, I'm frustrated. My kid's like looking for an acting class. I can't find one. And someone's like, you know what? I feel like I've seen a sign for something. Have you looked, you know, in this area? And then they found us online, and that probably did happen. So there's, I don't know how many 1 people or 10 people or 100 people actually came from that spark, but somebody did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whoever that was started a chain reaction of whatever, you know. So that's something where, and again, I guess the reason I was talking about it was it made it exponentially harder because you're sweating.
Yeah.
There's cars zooming by you.
Yeah, we were like in the medium.
Yeah, not safe, by the way. We don't recommend it. And illegal. I think illegal now.
Yeah, it is now.
It wasn't then, but now it's probably illegal to be doing what we were doing. And then if you just think about it and you go, okay, you're gonna get 0 from this. You already know before you go out there, you're not gonna make money in the moment. You are betting on this working 6 months from now. Like, that takes faith. That takes massive amounts of faith. And the truth is, we just didn't have the skill set. We didn't have the knowledge. We didn't have the whatever, the money to do it any other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did what we could do. Instead of focusing on what we couldn't do, we just were like, well, we have 2 legs and arms, and we can go outside, and we can afford a little spinny sign. So let's do that.
Boom.
It's total just make it happen, like guerrilla marketing at its finest. Like, and I'll rewind just one more time to just show that in another way, because we were just going through, I think it was a few months ago, our original like meeting notes from when we started, and then it went through some of like our goals and some of the stuff that was happening, and the thing we would just write down some of the stuff we were doing.
Yeah.
And one of the things we did, and I'd totally forgotten about this, by the way, just completely forgotten about this.
Oh man,
But
please say it.
we would
Please say it.
we would go over to the mall, and we would like greet people at the mall
Yep.
and give them stuff at the mall. Like, we had flyers.
We would
just
hand out
had
flyers.
and just be walking around the mall and giving people flyers. Like again, in that same idea, probably not going to get anybody from that, probably, but it was spreading the word. It was like, this is something we can do.
Yeah.
Let's go do it. Let's go hand these things out. And so there are new ways to do this inside of the way culture's working right now, but we were just willing to grind. When you go down to the simplicity of it, we cared about our dreams so much that we were willing to do whatever it took within our knowledge to make it happen. And I think even if you take that to a digital landscape, you may not know how to do certain things. I'll just pull up the Lighthouse website as an example right now.
It's
Snowy
horrific.
days, horrific days.
Horrific snowy days.
Yeah, but I was just trying to learn it, and I didn't invest enough into that still. But like that, it was something.
Yeah.
It was something.
No, and you know what?
was-
And you did something, by the way. And this is another, a whole nother cool topic, but I just want you to know that I'm excited to redo the Lighthouse website. I'm sure Joey is too.
Oh yeah.
I know Nick is from our troop, and we've got other troop members that are excited now to put into it. And that's because you kept it going. You kept it alive. You did something. And as bad as it is,
Big facts.
yeah, as bad as it is, you tried your best.
Yeah.
You tried your best. You threw something up, and you even took some crap for it because I saw it. I was like, bro,
This is bad.
that was real bad.
But
and
here's
you're
the-
right.
Yeah.
like people, here's what Lighthouse is. Lighthouse, is it lighthousetheater.org?
Yes.
So you go to lighthousetheater.org. That's where you would donate money for the Lighthouse cause and a lot of great things. The problem is, right now, if you go there, you would take money from us.
No. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. To be fair, he did put up the wallpaper when we had our winter fundraiser, so makes sense for then.
What do you mean
right?
the wallpaper?
Like the snowy wonderland, like that kind of makes sense for when it was put up. But now,
Was
in
it
the
then?
middle of
I don't think
summer.
it was then.
it was before the winter event
Are you sure?
last.
I don't know. I think he
Pretty
just thought
sure.
it. I just think he saw a lighthouse in the background.
There was one that I did then, and
It's
then
not this one.
and that one was great for actually the holidays. It was great, and then switched over
Singing
to
guy.
random singing guy.
Oh man!
Which I was like, oh, cool, guitar, like, I don't know, stage.
stage.
And then Matt was like, what's up with the man bun? And I was like, all right, that's gotta go. And
Oh my
then
God.
we moved to, there's at least a lighthouse there. And I was trying to do an effect where basically it looked good, because it looked good on the website, like, okay, at least better than Snowy Days. But on the cell phone, it was really bad. So then I was trying to like dim it, and then I was like, all right, we got better.
Okay,
Nice.
I got
It
a
was
couple
bad.
things here. Number one,
Couple things.
couple things. No. Number one, I just think it was cool because I remember you didn't just like duplicate our website, even though you wanted to. You went and you made it like from scratch with a different program than what we use for Deering.
Right.
And that's hard. So for that part, that's really cool. And then I had a cool idea for a segment that kind of hit me just now,
Okay.
and it's going to be based on going into the past. Brian, what are the top 3 lessons you got from Matt in your first year? Like that you can think of.
Oh man,
That's tough.
I know-
because that was a
yeah.
lot of years ago.
yeah.
Just do your best.
Do my best.
Yeah.
Okay, top 3 things that I learned in the very beginning. Okay. MySpace was a thing back then. But,
Yeah, MySpace.
But it was be careful what you put on social media.
Okay.
I was a 17-year-old, so
Oh yeah.
That's
that
a
was
good
huge.
lesson.
I was already
was-
thinking that way back then.
So
Dang.
I was a 17-year-old, and as I tell the teenagers in our class now, I wasn't a very good one. Like, I made a lot of mistakes, and so you were able to help me through that. And one thing was just be careful what you're putting out there.
And as a 17-year-old, it's funny, you don't want to hear that.
I did not.
No.
I mean, nobody does. I'm just saying. Like, you put something
get-
up, and it's like you and your friends, and you're doing whatever, and then your mentor comes over and says, like, hey, like, I think that photo that you put up of you and your friends is bad. I think it doesn't represent our brand very well, and it doesn't represent you. And you're like, this is me and my friends, man. You know, like that's the way you want to think. You trusted and took those things down, but I know it wasn't easy for you because you see yourself in a certain light. You see the moment in a certain light. You know you're going to get recognition from your friends from the photo, but you can't see 10 years down the line you getting recognition from somebody else in not a positive light for that same photo. And so you want to go and take that thing down.
Absolutely. Probably number 2 would be just inside of the acting world. I would say, and I taught about this the other day. One of the biggest lessons you ever taught me was when I didn't come memorized, you then didn't let me perform. And now, that's translated all the way to now as a teacher, just learning that each person needs to be taught to differently, and to see. And you've continued to help me learn to do this, but to see the very best in each student and what each person is capable of.
And I know I told you this, but I've told all the teachers here the same idea, actually. Because what I tell you, I said, you're not memorized, you don't perform, right? And that's because I was being hard on you because I believed in you and wanted what was best for you. But now the teachers is like, hey, you're not prepared, you don't get to teach. Sorry. You didn't do the work, you don't have a lesson plan, like you didn't think it through, you don't get to teach. What? No. I'll teach. I'm capable.
Yeah.
Go ahead, skip out of the room. I'll take care of it. You do the work or that the students expect you to do, or you don't get to teach.
Absolutely.
All right, number 3, Brian.
I'm ready. Number 3 was in teaching. Number 3 was in being young but being able to still be powerful. So I was about to teach my very first adult class, and I was 18 and absolutely terrified. Completely could not have been more scared ever, because I had these thoughts in my mind of I look a certain way. There's no way anyone's going to respect me in any way, shape, or form. And I'd been training with you since I was 13, so I had a base knowledge, and you had taught me how to do this. And I'd been working with the teens and the kids for so long, and you were going to have me come in and help teach with the adults. And there was adults that were like 50. And basically what you told me was that they're not looking at you because of your age. If you come in there with your confidence and in your truth and what you know and are just very humble about it, then they're going to respect that. And it did. I remember the student, I can't remember his name, but afterwards this 50-year-old man came over and talked to me about and just kept asking questions and was grateful for the knowledge that I had gained from you that I was able to teach to him. And that was just so powerful for me to just realize it wasn't about my age. It was about what I'd built with you. And
it was about the studio. Like the other thing I said was the studio in and of itself was already bigger than we were. So the studio had had its own reputation. People came to the studio for what the studio had to teach. So if the studio made a decision to put you forward, then whoever's coming in goes, okay, the studio's got a good reputation. They must back this guy. And that's what I've said to other teachers who are unknown, who have come in from the outside. It's like, you don't need to talk about yourself. You don't have to start off and prove yourself. The fact that we're putting you in front of the class means that you automatically get respect. Now you have to keep it.
Yeah.
And the way to keep that respect is not by talking about you and telling everybody how much great stuff you've done, but it's by helping them. And you prove yourself around here by how many people can you serve, how many people can you make better.
Absolutely. So those are my top 3 lessons from Matt.
That's great.
From the beginning.
I love it. Fist bump. Boom.
Fist bump.
There it is.
I got 3.
All right, Joe, you can do your top 3 here. We're at 737.
All right.
737.
Drum roll, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Number 1 from Matt. Okay.
First year?
Yeah.
Okay.
This was and it was, I forget exactly how it was worded, but it was about the cleaning, right? And it was, you have to take an immense amount of pride in it. You want to look for the spots on the floor, like you don't want anything, and you want it to be consistent. So you want to do it fast, as if no one is watching you. Don't do it because people are watching you, but stay into the room, right? So there were a couple of times where we would have workshops and stuff, and after a couple months, I was getting into my groove with cleaning. I found like a routine. I found a way I liked to sweep in this sort of like square where I would start in the theater and go around, and I was getting pretty quick with it. But then certain things would come up and I would get tense and I would stress out. So I would try to go like really fast. But the thing about it is, even though you're going fast, my energy of being tense and stressed and trying to get it done quickly was transferring onto you and onto the other teachers who were about to go into the workshop.
And even weirdly onto the floor and onto the surfaces. Like energy is so powerful.
Sure.
So you think about that and you're going, okay, like, yeah, what am I doing? And that's why I'll say sometimes you may be doing the job, but you're actually not helping.
Yeah.
You know, you could be doing the job at wherever you work and be doing something, but if you do it with the wrong attitude, literally you could be stealing energy from everybody else instead of lifting them up. Because you're like, oh yeah, I'm doing the thing and whatever it is, and you're doing this task that you find menial. Everyone feels a little bit drained from you.
Yeah.
Versus if you're doing it for the purpose of lifting everybody else up, they can feel that too, and they are given energy. And energy is breathed into the room and into everybody else. Dude, that's really cool. I also remember back then me telling you about, because I really believe in this idea of cleaning, because it comes to me, it goes all the way back to the Bible and Jesus and service and whatnot. And so I love starting people there. I wrote about it in the book.
Yeah.
In being humble. And as a matter of fact, Cherie talked about this on our podcast, or on her podcast that I got to be on. And she was talking about when she started, she took out the trash every day. Every day. She never missed.
Yeah.
And then one day, one of the interns was like, hey, you know what? You probably shouldn't be taking out the trash. And she's like, I don't mind. I'll take out the trash. She's like, well, one of us should probably do it, you know? And she's like, okay. But they're like, it's not really our image, you know, for you to be taking out the trash. And then she laughed about it. And I was like, that's awesome. Like, so cool. And then I thought to myself, what is the Ford Robert Black agency image? What is their image? It's clean. Their image is, you know, like professional. Yeah, right. So you can't have a clean, professional vibe if the trash doesn't get taken out properly every day and the bag doesn't get put back into the trash can. And if somebody doesn't take pride in that thing, then you lose that vibe that you're going for. And I believe in this. Like, when a leader leads, eventually the people around them are going to go, hey, you focus on this, let me take care of that for you.
Yeah.
And then the leader's got to be humble enough, and to Cherie's credit, she let you know, people take over that job. But it's proof that if the trash was there and nobody was around, she would have no problem grabbing it and taking it out.
Yeah.
So when it came to you and the cleaning, and I believe this, I say, you know, be where you are and stretch to be more.
Yep.
So when you first came in here, I told you flat out, you're not valuable yet. You have potential energy. You have unlimited potential. And I wanted you to see big, and I still do, see huge. But right where you are currently, you're not more valuable than this.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, but here's what the deal is. Like, I currently have a cleaning company that I use. I pay a certain amount. I can bring you in. You can learn. I can transfer the money I'm paying over here to you. You can have this job. Or maybe I didn't even tell you this. Maybe I just did this.
You did not.
So I did this in my own brain then. And I was like, okay, so here's what I can do. Here's how I can afford this thing. And then everything you gain from me, knowledge-wise, is a bonus. But you can get paid essentially what I was already paying somebody else to do, a professional.
Yeah. But I didn't get paid, which was good.
Oh, okay. All right. Then eventually you did get paid.
Eventually I did. But I waited a year.
Yeah. So then there's the idea of then not just cleaning, but I wanted you to clean in such a way that was the Joey clean.
Yeah.
I wanted people to know, oh, Joey came in today. You know, and because I remember this is an interesting thing and I think I told you the story, but when people are good at what they do, like really good,
yeah,
it's noticeable. So we used to have this this cleaning woman who was a part of my family
Yeah.
growing
I
up.
remember her.
Her name was Olivia. Loved Olivia. Just a wonderful woman. She was, and so she cleaned my parents' house, my parents' business. I think she ended up with her own company and different things. And so she ended up cleaning our studio and mine and my wife's house for a long time. And then the drive just got to be too long, and so it didn't work out long term. But just a wonderful lady. But it was interesting because when Olivia had come, you could tell. You could tell the difference between when Olivia had come or anybody else had cleaned. And you'd walk in and go, oh, Olivia was here. Like, you could just tell.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted for you. I was like, if you're going to take on cleaning, if you're going to take on this job, make it so that people are like, oh, this is a Joey clean. Like, clearly somebody cared. Somebody did it to a certain standard. And it's a standard of excellence. And that's what I tell everybody: get known for that. Wherever you're at, get known for the standard of excellence, the standard of going above and beyond. Because when you get recognized there, you get promoted. And then wherever you go to, then again, standard of excellence, raise your expectations. You get noticed, you get promoted.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
For sure. And I was just gonna say, like, even though you said this earlier, the idea that you had a cleaning person and were paying them and you were going to transfer that money, even though I didn't get paid right away, the fact that you were thinking about that, like, I know that was plan B the whole time. You were ready to do it whenever, but the thing is, like, I didn't deserve it, like you said, and honestly, I'm happy that didn't happen, because that was one of the first times where my mind started to get tested. And I believe that.
Well, it took you a while to switch over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Because actually, probably I had it already mapped out to pay you, but you couldn't get your mind right.
Yeah.
That's probably what happened. So I'm like, okay, I gotta wait. I have to wait till he's ready to be paid.
Yeah.
Because if I pay him too soon, it's not gonna benefit him or us.
And that's what I'm saying. So it's this thing where, like, I sit back and I'm grateful now, because that's one of the first times my mind was ever tested, not just about pay, but just about work ethic, time put in, selflessness, all of that stuff. That was something that, you sit in your room at the end of the day and you have to think about all these things. And as you're growing up, like, that was something where I fought with it, and I still kept coming every day no matter what. And that's one of my favorite things about my story of this studio, is I've come in and out a couple of different times due to mistakes and things where I got pushed away and whatnot, but I always came back, because this has always been something that's important to me. And sometimes it just took time, and now I'm a full-time part of this. But I wouldn't be here without the foundation, the beginning, And that's why that lesson is so important. And I kind of call it the wax on, wax off, because that's what the essential idea was back then. But it changed my mindset. That was the beginning, because if we hadn't started on that, with me changing the mindset just to open it up a little bit for you to go in there and work with me, I wouldn't be where I am today. So, cool stuff.
All right, very good. We're getting close to the hour mark here. Do you want to get to your other two, or should we skip on that?
Your guys' call.
Let's. Why don't we go for it? Maybe we'll hit up some topics that we can talk about on the next couple shows.
All right, sounds good. Number 2 is.
You're not ready.
No, I had it, but
okay.
I forgot.
Oh, okay. Well, we can come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got it.
Okay, go.
I got it.
Yeah, he's got it.
This is.
I got it.
This is with the editing and with, like, back end stuff, but this is a big thing that's always stuck with me, and that is, nowadays, because of Matt, I've learned to get excited about being wrong. So that's a huge thing. It took forever and I'm still working on it today, but it's gotten much better. But being a creative, being somebody who's learning all this new stuff, I wouldn't call myself a professional in anything as far as editing or back end or whatever, but it's something that I'm in every day. And so
which is so powerful, Joey, because I'm going to tell you, the first 6 months you were doing it, you would have called yourself a professional.
Oh, probably.
You would have been like, yeah, I'm an editor. Like I'm like it's what
it's
what I do. Yeah, seriously, you would have wanted to be braggy about it.
Yeah.
And now you're going, I'm not a professional in any way, which is it's such a better place to start.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Go.
Because the thing is, like, my heart's gonna be in any project. That's the truth. But if you set the standard too high for yourself, then you set the false expectation. That's not fair for the person or for you.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of where that comes from. But that's a big part of the lessons that I've learned here is just learn to be wrong and be okay with it and get excited about it. So now I actually get excited a lot of the time when I'm wrong, which is cool because then I'm like, okay, cool, I have a faster way to do it next time. Boom, done.
Yeah.
And it's not like honestly, a lot of the stuff that I get critiqued on, sometimes we still put it up, like, and you just grow from putting it up.
Yeah.
But it's like, why not? Why wouldn't you keep getting better? Why wouldn't you take the lesson? And before it was so hard because it was like, it was a creative work for me, and I was like, oh, I don't want it to be bad. I want it to be good. So
right. And there's you go down this path of going, okay, if the other person is not trying to be right, and this is a hard thing because you say, okay, I'll be quick to be wrong, and then it's like, okay, does that mean the other person's right? Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Yeah.
So and that's where it gets tricky because you'd hear, this is not good. This is not good for this reason. This is whatever, and this is what you hear. Not good. You didn't do good. This is wrong. And then if you're sort of don't know how to hear it, you'd hear, oh, he thinks he's so good. He thinks he's right. He thinks he knows everything. I think Brian mentioned the other day, like, so someone said like a God complex. It's not a God complex because what's interesting is if I were to share these things, it's not that and I usually say this, it's not that I think I would have done better. It's that I happen to know certain things from experience that doesn't work, and I can go, okay, cool. What do you think about this? Don't you think this could possibly be better? And then to acknowledge that and see it and give credit for it and go, oh, you're right. Like that could be better. Maybe should we do it this time, next time, whatever. But like, let's go down that path instead of getting stuck in the like, oh, this is all about me and like, oh, I'm not good because no one said you're not good. It has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
It just has to do with, okay, let's progress. And when you get there, that's why I say get excited about it. When you get there, you progress so much faster. Because here you are now. I've noticed you doing little things where you will, like you've started doing different emails and descriptions and writing in such a way that you never used to do before. You're communicating in new ways, and you're very quickly seeking advice, seeking critique, fast, wanting to know the whys behind things. That's saving you hours and days worth of agony that you used to have to go through because you'd try to like muscle through it yourself. You'd try to be right. You'd try to do this or that. And then you get all angry about the fact that it's not perfect. And it's like, why would you get angry about the fact you didn't do something perfectly when it's your second or third time ever trying it?
Yeah.
And somebody else has been doing it for a decade. So let's just say I'm better at writing emails than you are. Okay, that could be true, but it still doesn't mean that I think I'm the best at writing emails.
Sure. Yeah.
But if you could acknowledge, okay, someone's been doing this for this long, they might have a better way of doing it, or they might have at least seen this conversation before and know how to react to it.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of attitude you're having now, which is really, really cool.
Well, it's all thanks to this place. So, number 3 is a tie. And
he's gonna pull in 3 and 4. You see what he did there?
It's like
it's between servant leadership and and being okay with who you are, where you are. Because those are two big things that, again, just shaped where I am today. You called me Joey the intern when I was younger, when I was 18, and this was when I was cleaning and all that, and you know, people look and you hear intern and you're like, okay, that's a person of lower power or whatever, or that's how I saw it back then. So at first I kind of got hurt that everybody was calling me that. I was like, just call me Joey, you know, that's my name. And you talked with me for a while and you were like, there's so much power in knowing that, and if you kick butte at what you do, people know you as Joey the intern. A, that's a cool thing. B, you set the precedent for any other intern who wants to come through here.
And I said, think about this. Like, you have an opportunity to lift up the people around you. If you're excited about it, if you're pumped about it, and you're like, wow, this is my position. How cool is that? Let me rock this. Let me, and you ended up doing exactly that. And I said, bro, why don't we, because I actually don't like the term intern. I don't like it. It was a nickname that kind of hit, and it was like Joey the intern,
JTI.
which it sounds like a radio personality of some kind, right? And I go back to the days that I've interned many times. You know, I've been people's servants. I've walked in and been like whatever. And so to me, it's like, think about it. Like, who's someone famous you like, that you appreciate their work ethic or whatever?
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart, great.
Yeah.
So let's just say there was an opportunity for you to be Kevin Hart's intern, his personal intern, for 6 months.
Yeah.
You could brag about that.
For sure.
You're like, yeah, I'm interning. I'm Joey, and he calls you, hey, Joey, the intern's here. You know, like, you'd be like, hell yeah, walk in the room, excited about it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So part of it is, what do you believe with the people, like, where you're going? And if you don't have that kind of mindset, like, I'm so grateful to be here, I'm so grateful to be a part of this thing, and you let that drag you down, weirdly, you're actually insulting the people that
brought you up,
that are bringing you up currently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
And you have done that, because since the day we begrudgingly were forced to move you on because you were so good, we have not had a week go by where people are not trying to become an intern here. Like, they want to find out how to do it, and it's like, we don't have enough space for all the interns that are trying to come in and intern for us.
Yeah.
And you did set that precedence.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, bro.
Well, this thanks for letting me segue. I know this wasn't on the main
agenda,
but I think it was really cool. I had
yeah,
a
you
lot
know,
of
and it was
fun
connected. So
talking about
the idea today was delayed gratification. It was wait to have the fun, as Rozzy says. Wait to have the fun. And during the wait, that can be fun. During the wait, during the process of waiting, when you find out how to make that part fun, then all of a sudden the fun doesn't get you too high or too low. Like, everything is a part of the process, and even the win becomes a part of growth, becomes a part of, I'm already working on toward the next thing. So, you know, celebrate the wins, definitely, but be careful of getting too high, too low, too quick. Focus on where you are right now. Be okay with that. Be striving for more, but be okay with where you are, and it's all right when things take time. Like, that's totally okay. If you can be a person who gets excited about delaying the gratification in your life, that will guaranteed take you next level, because sometimes that thing that you were wanting or seeking so badly, it turns out you didn't even need, and there's something even greater, something even better around the corner. All right, Joe, you going to outro the show, or am I going to do it?
Oh, heck yeah.
All right, everybody. This has been Mornings with Matt. Thank you so much for watching. Joey's going to outro the show. That was a cat.
That was your.
That was the
am I supposed to
outro.
outro?
I'll try to set you up again.
Thanks for listening to Mornings with Matt. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest light-driven content.
Have a darn day, everybody.
Have a daring day.
Have a daring day, everybody.